Hey guys! Welcome back to Let's Play Star Ocean 2. Last time we arrived here with both of our paths. This time I'm actually going to start with Rena's path for two different reasons, really. They both play out exactly the same in the dungeon aspect of here. Rose Hips is for compounding, Blackberry restores MP. And the first of the reasons is because she's a mage. She has less HP, does less damage, and she struggles a lot more in here. So it's a little more... Ow! Game, can I guess I can't move. Game will not let me move. I don't know why. But yeah, the more damage you take, the worse off you're going to be. She does less damage, takes more damage, so it's a little more difficult for her, which is why I want to kind of show her path off, because one, it's going to be more challenging. Two, that's the only path you're likely to have any trouble with yourselves if you're playing. The second reason is, well, let's show this off first. You can't escape. Why not? You were held prisoner. Just say you want out. Yeah, we're still technically a prisoner even though we're in a dungeon. Anyway, Blueberry restores HP, and Silver is for alchemy and blacksmithing and customizing. All are things that we won't be doing quite yet. Look at that, 5-on-1. This is actually one of the easier battles though, because these guys do less damage, have really stupid AI, and you don't need to worry about anything other than just spamming the X button. Now that I've shown off a couple of battles, I should probably kind of go over how these battles actually work, since I haven't done that yet. We got those, yes. But yeah, I wanted to show this off because Rena is just not particularly good in these battles. But the way it works is it's a live action battle, and I probably need to change my battle setup, which is why I can't move around. This is probably the worst battle you could possibly be in with Rena. The bunnies do a decent amount of damage, but they don't hit very often. And as you can see, any enemy that's in the air does not get hit very easily. Right now, all I'm doing is spamming the action button, the X button. And if the enemy's in the air, the character you're controlling will jump and attempt to hit the enemy. If they're on the ground, they'll just swing and usually hit the enemy. If they're in the air, they'll miss probably like 50% of the time or more. But yeah, like I said, this can be one of the worst battles if they decide to attack you, but usually they just jump around and do absolutely nothing. Wow, getting more levels. I already did Claude's path before I started recording. I ran into 9 battles, I think, or 8 battles or something like that. Get a piece of iron there. We'll go into all the item creation abilities later on.
Careful.
And I still forgot to change the battle setup. Let's clear out a few of these guys before I... Hey, stop that. Go into any more detail. So let's press the triangle button. We have access to magic. You can cast your spells in battle. Press it again. We have access to our item command. Any in-battle items we can use. Obviously, a number of those we can't. We have access to escape, which we don't need to use here. What that'll do, by the way, is that sets everybody on runaway, and so they'll sit there standing in place, getting the shit beaten out of them by any enemy, whether it's super bosses or first level enemies like these guys, and they'll try and run away until they happen to get lucky enough to do so. And the runaway takes way too long in this game. So I would almost never recommend using this unless you have like 4 party members, one of them's down, you want to run, and you run somebody way off to the corner and all the enemies are far away from that corner. It's the only way it's going to work for you. And we have tactics, which just allows us to set our AI controls. We have our own character to control. You just press the X button once, it'll target the enemy who's closest, and then it will, and then you'll press the X button one more time to complete the attack. Let's go into options here. Let's set your targeting mode to auto. There we go, and that should be good. Now you will have noticed that we've gotten some skill points as we've leveled up. I would not recommend using any of those, and I have a very good reason for why you don't want to use them. When you have it set properly, you will be able to move around in battle by just using joystick. But yeah, these enemies here are pretty straightforward. You can run around, but once you've targeted on an enemy, you will run after that enemy for a very long time if they happen to just be way faster than you and run away. There's a particular enemy later on who will be a real pain in the ass because of this. Let's head over this way. To Dragon's Nest. That sounds like where I want to go. Let's go this way. Wait, come on. Why not? I want to go play with dragons. Because dragons will probably fry me. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Anyway, you can't go over there yet. There's a second part of the dungeon for later.
Heads up.
I will start cutting out battles when, we are at a point afterward. Okay, we learned a spell in that last battle, so let's take a look at how that works. There we go. So press. It's our first offensive spell in the game.
Press.
Anytime you cast a spell, your character will stand there doing nothing and be open to attack. So you don't want to be too close to the enemy when you start casting. Now, do note there are sides or boundaries to any of the battle arenas, or any of the battlefields, whatever you want to call them. And if you want to, you can back enemies into the corner, and they have a much more difficult time running away, which makes it a lot easier if you're trying to hit them and they're particularly elusive enemies like those bunnies.
Heads up.
These are probably the most difficult enemies in here, other than just the annoying factor of the bunnies. Most of Rena's attack spells in the game are not worth using. The only reason I'm using it here is because she takes too much damage. But for a character who's not a physical attacker, she does have a decent and probably the best of all of the mages as far as physical attacks go. She uses a glove as part of her equipment. I don't think I have anything else for her. So yeah, if you press the square button, like in the shop, you can see the stats that any of your stuff has. We've got the leather armor that we found before, and I don't think there's anything else I can take a look at here. You could equip any of this stuff. It doesn't really do much. Gives you 1 evade. 1 hit. Nothing. It literally is a useless decoration. Yeah, there's a lot of items in this game. There are item pools for specific items or specific effects, and those item pools can be over 200 items deep, and that has nowhere close to all the items in this game. There are way too many. But anyway, we were talking about skills before. As you can see, we don't have access to a whole lot of them, but if you remember, the way they do the skills in this game is very much like the first Star Ocean. And that being the case, there is the most important skill in the entire game that's called Perseverance. We will learn that a little bit later on. I'll be taking a detour to get it early. And basically what that does is it lowers the cost of skill points required to level up all of our other skills. So we want to max that one out before we do anything else. All right. Let us make a new file. Why not? There we go. And with that being said, let's head into here. This is basically the only place we can go at this point, even though it makes sense to run away since we were captive, but what is this place? We lost the music. Why would you build an altar? Yeah, she goes to run away. And she gets captured right away. But yeah, I don't know why you would want to build your altar here instead of just have the ceremony in one that's probably already in the town. There isn't one in this town as far as I know, but hell, you could probably throw the whole thing in his house. He's got a massive house. Apparently he's changed by gaining the power of this stone. I don't like this idea. Not a lot at all. And Claude just strolls in here like he's out for a walk. I believe, if I remember correctly, the entirety of Claude's path after he goes through the dungeon, which is exactly the same, treasures are the same, in the same spots, he gets to this point and the scene plays out just as we've seen him walking in. He just doesn't get the earlier bit, which is why I decided to go with Rena's path for what I would be showing on screen. I'm not going to show Claude going through the same dungeon, that'd be pointless. Later on, we'll be sticking to one path since basically the dungeons will be the same regardless. But at this point, since there was only one character per path, I figured we might as well show something. This is true. Not so much there, buddy. Doesn't seem to be doing a very good job of holding Rena hostage. What was that? So there's his stone, straight out of Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't know, the way they've built up this entire little bit of the plot is very much like...
I won't lose.
And yeah, he's already at that point. So we're going to cast Heal on ourselves. And we're going to move in closer, and we're just going to watch Claude go to town on this guy, because that's all he needs to do. Yeah, you don't have to do anything. The AI will control all of your other characters, save for the one that you happen to be selecting.
Hey.
And in this case, let me learn Sarah Slash. In this case, you can have up to 4 characters in the party at once. When, of course, we recruit more characters. You do not have to recruit any characters in the game, though. You can actually make it all the way to the end of the game with just those 2. You don't want to do this, and in fact, one of my friends, sad to say, missed recruiting a certain character that I did. We were both kind of playing at the same time, saw how good that character was, and didn't want to recruit anyone else until they could get that character, couldn't get that character, and then didn't recruit anyone at all. Just went 2 characters to the end of the game on his first playthrough. It really made me laugh. He was just kind of stubborn, but anyway. Yeah, you can get any number of characters you want, really. The maximum amount of characters you can recruit throughout the game, or have in total, is 8. And I believe there are, 12 or something like that? 11, 12 characters in the entire game. So you can't get them all on one path, which is one of the big reasons why I'm doing 2 separate paths, so I can show the recruiting process of how to get the characters that I won't be using in my final party and on the main path. Seems possessed, huh? Yeah, he just kind of turned into an ogre for some reason. I'm not really sure why. They didn't show any kind of transformation in the field, and then he was just transformed as soon as we got into the battle, which was weird. Oh, look, he's coming around. Somebody get the axe out. Let's finish the job. Yeah. You couldn't figure that out before. You don't... Well, I guess he wasn't all that hard. I was going to say don't heal the bad guy, but in this case, it really doesn't matter. Claude can just wipe the floor with him again. He does some attacks. It's a very super easy boss. There's almost no chance of you losing. If you get hit, you can heal with Rena. Izzy! Okay. He's back to normal. So fuzzy. Seems like a long dream. It's the root of all evil. Where did the stone go, by the way? Did it leave him or did it explode? I wasn't really paying attention. Let's head back there. Yeah, they warp you out after there. I did pick up all the treasure in the dungeon, by the way. Nothing in there is particularly valuable, so don't worry about it. There is a reason to head back into the dungeon later on, as I mentioned, where that sign was that said Dragon Nest. We will be heading back there on Rena's path. I will let you guys figure out why. Yes. Yes, you did. 2 weeks ago. Sort of absent-minded. Some sort of power given off by the stone. Now, the sad thing is they don't really follow up on this concept like they do in Final Fantasy Tactics. Tactics handles it reasonably well, and I'm not a particularly big fan of the story in that game. I know that's like blasphemy to some people, but it didn't click with me. But I think that was one aspect that they did that was, you know, at least well done, even if I wasn't a big fan of the game in general, was what they did with the stones. And in this game, this is pretty much all they do. They imply later what was happening here, but they never outright state it. You clearly remember the moment, huh? So, the moment when you were possessed by a stone. Okay, sure, why not? You did indeed. Don't worry about it. Now, I don't think we'll be doing any of the path splicing for a little while because, for the most part, a lot of the, you know, super specific scenes that are really different on both paths, they don't happen all the time like they were in the last couple of episodes. At this point, it's not really as big a deal, so we're going to just kind of go with Claude's path going forward and experience some things. And then we will jump back to Rena's path when there's a specific reason to. Now, well, I'll wait till next time to get into it because there is kind of an important point to go over, but we won't be able to address it until next time. So we'll just save what I was going to say until then. Apparently that's my job. I'm the hero of this story. Didn't anyone tell you? Star player. No. Stop that. I'm going to kick him out of here. I make lots of jokes about Final Fantasy X, but I actually like Final Fantasy X a lot. It's one of my favorites in the series. Probably fourth, maybe? Fourth or fifth. It's in the top 5. But anyway. Due to the rock discovered in the depths of the Salva mines. Just as soon as the rock was destroyed and vanished. Okay, so I guess that's what happened when I wasn't paying attention. Things seem to happen when I don't do that. Making people strange and turning them into demons doesn't that rock sound like the Sorcery Globe? Someone's using their brain. The other two weren't. Then again, Claude can be excused from that because he really has no idea what's going on. I'm sure it's difficult enough just keeping his head around what's going on and where things are, let alone, you know, trying to connect the dots and solve this world's problems. Don't take it too seriously. Well, you had a feeling about it. You're a main character, so it's probably right. Quite a commotion later. Also about the... Oh, right. The idiot decided to shoot the door. I think this particular scene is slightly different on the two paths. I'll scan through as I catch up on Claude's path off screen. If there's something particularly interesting, I'll show it. If not, I won't worry about it. You're going to ask me to investigate your problem, even though it seems to be causing nothing but misfortune for everybody involved. I guess I'm not involved, so Either way. Now, on Rena's path, I'm pretty sure there's some amount of change in this scene. Like, we'll see Claude's thought bubbles or something like that. I'll try and place those in here at some point. If they were there. I think they were. It's hard to remember the differences between the two paths, honestly, because a lot of the time I'm just rushing through the dialogue really quickly and I read half of it. Because at this point, this is my 5th playthrough of this game in total. I played twice when I was a kid, once on Claude's path, once on Rena's path, and then I did a test run on both paths. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we see some of his thought bubbles on his path, which would make sense, because him just agreeing to it out of nowhere, from his perspective, doesn't really make sense unless he's reasoned something. I'm not trying to save the world, I just want to go from point A to point B over and over again until I have no choice but to save the world. Then I'll do it. Maybe. Well, sure, that makes sense at least. Don't know how much you can do, huh? Where does that leave our other main character? Well, there you go. She wants to come along too. Okay. We made a pretty good team in battle, even though we didn't need the healer. It was nice to have. Don't know much about the continent, which is true. You might need a guide, and you have healing magic. Now, they haven't said as much, but her healing power is somewhat rare. They'll explain the storyline reason for that, but I'll let the game tell it in time. It just, not only does it make sense to have a healer, but healers are rare, so probably a good idea to take one. She's surprised. Sorry if I'm rushing through the dialogue a little quickly. I'm trying to not make this a super long episode, but gotta finish this cutscene now. Okay. Only with approval of your mother. At least that makes sense. I do note that Claude is 19 and Rena is 17. So that actually makes sense. Though if I were her mother, I probably would not want to send my daughter along with, you know, the older guy off altogether on their own, even with this completely mysterious guy that she doesn't really know. But anyway, that's just me. It's gotten very cold. It doesn't look all that cold. I don't see snow. On my way home, which is literally across the grass. It's like they're neighbors, basically. Oh, well, that's good. What? We've been standing out here for about 3 seconds. What is your problem, buddy? I'm trying to have a conversation here. And poor Rena must run home. This part of the scene will be unique to Rena's path, so we'll show this scene, and then probably right after I will throw what Claude goes before they both go to sleep, which apparently is not very much. It's late, time to go to bed. Perfect. Why do I even get to... Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't go up the stairs. Oh, Mom. By the way, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. I'm going with that strange guy over there. she's happy. And what's more, I'm going too. Well, that he does not. Ah, the mayor. Now what? You are talking to her. You just barged in her house without even knocking. And we get control here. We're supposed to go over here? No. So we're just supposed to wander over here. Maybe we'll turn this into a longer episode and I'll fit in all the sequences here that I wanted to. I'm going for a walk. I think you just have to go one screen over and then one screen back. Ah, there you go. You have to go all the way down there. And then Claude shows up. What's too far? I was going to make this one short, but I think I will keep it long and we'll pad the episode with the extra scene from Claude's perspective. This is probably the last time for quite some time. I know I said that at the start of the episode that we wouldn't do it anymore, but I'd forgotten how different the scene played out on both sides. But yeah, beyond this, the characters will group together as we've planned, and then things will be very much similar. You know, some slight changes here and there, but nothing major. Nothing like this. Completely different dialogue, completely different scenes. Will be coming up. No, the mayor was already there. Again, this is the translation. I don't know what it was, but they got the tense wrong or something like that. I don't know. It's just weird. Oh, do you now? Oh, admitting that seems like a strange move to someone you've just met, but we already know about that from Rena's perspective, but of course Claude doesn't. Of course, she doesn't mention when they were talking about it, which probably brings up more than her fair share of, you know, bad feelings or bad memories. My only clue is the pendant. How come every JRPG heroine needs to have a pendant? Every single one of them. There's a good point for you. Now, you would think that this would be a weird translation thing. I could see that point of view, but from experience, from talking to people in a similar situation, they've used very much the same words, and so I can completely understand that sentence. Yeah, they haven't really mentioned anything about the mysterious powers, but basically the mysterious power is the power of healing, which very few other people have. So she wants to go experience things, learn things, and then return. Well, your stories are giving everybody character development. Well, you character development anyway. It's giving a very good idea or a good picture of what it is you want to do. You know, your reason for being on this adventure. And it gives you motivation to want to keep going on. Claude, at this point, his motivation is, gotta find a way off this rock, gotta find a way off this rock, gotta find a way off this rock. I'm not gonna get off here, am I? Pretty much. Okay. Be careful on the road. We'll have both of us together. We'll have no problem at all. I'll definitely come back. This is a Japanese thing. You have to say, I'll be going before you can say I'm back. There are specific Japanese phrases for, you know, it's like, I'm leaving with the intention of returning. And then there's another phrase you say when you return home. And that's basically what they're getting into. The game very much takes a lot from the Japanese culture and Japanese society, down to a number of different things. It's a Japanese-made game, so it makes sense. But there are, you know, JRPGs that are a lot more Western than this. This is very much an Eastern game. Yeah, you're making me wait too. I'm trying to get the other path in. Come on, hurry up and shut up. Okay, so our goal now is to go to Cross Castle and meet with the king. Show him the letter of introduction from me, and you'll gain his trust. Seems simple enough. I don't know why she's explaining that to them. Shouldn't they already know? Oh well. Yeah, okay. Stop saying goodbye. Let's get a move on now. Come on. There we go. Okay, cutting back to Claude's path. Everything is the same up until now, except for the one line of, or I guess 2 lines of little dialogue that we got in the middle that I will have spliced in for you guys. And then, yeah, this is just what happens when they split apart from Claude's point of view. Sure, why not? We'll take a break. Even though we've already taken this break once today. Okay, we'll go back in. Before you go to sleep, can we talk some more? Of course, we have to have lots of talking early in the game. Gotta set the stage. Oh, did you? That's a good question. Why? Yeah. We do not have... I think he's talking about we as in a species, really. It's kind of vague, but... What do you mean? I already kind of mentioned this before. Yeah, he's just like, this stranger is completely weird and doesn't have any idea what's going on around here. Let's just share all of our important information with him. Now, think about this. We already saw the scene with those 2 at the bridge where Rena admitted this. But Claude did not betray the fact that he already knew. It's interesting. I'm sure the fact that Rena came right out and said that she knew about this was a great thing for him, so he didn't have to worry about, oh crap, do I tell her or do I not tell her? You know, sitting with that burden the entire time of, okay, I gotta be honest to you, but at the same time, I gotta be honest to these people who trusted me with this very odd bit of information. And the sprite's glitching out. Joy. Yeah, there's just randomly a child there. Let me guess, she's going to turn out to be Supergirl, isn't she? I guess Supergirl with healing powers, but she just randomly found her in, well, not a field, but a forest. Close enough. Very surprised. Yeah, I would expect so. I don't see why anyone would. If you couldn't find the biological parents, you might as well. Someone's got to raise the child. You can't just leave her. They don't know yet. But she already knew. Nothing other than that, huh? We don't have anything. My, look at the time. Exactly. Over 35 minutes episode. I don't believe that's all, because we still have to go out, and I believe the scene at the bridge is very much the same, if not exactly the same. But if there's anything different, we'll show that off too. Time to go to bed. Of course, we know he's not going to stay in bed, but... What was that? If I went through that too fast, he said, did something hit the glass? Came from the balcony, which is down here, even though I haven't mentioned that before now. Yeah, this didn't happen on the other path, did it? Yeah, I don't know why they changed perspectives. I don't know why we didn't come up here and throw things. Instead, we have to meet Claude already at the bridge for no apparent reason. On Rena's path. It's kind of weird how they make these changes. I don't really know why. They could have just kept the continuity, but no, they didn't want to. Oh. Where did he go? He actually went over to Rena's place, if you remember. And of course, Rena is gone. Anyone want to guess where she is? Yes, she's already at the bridge. All this set up so that we can have the same cutscene. If there's any new dialogue, I will keep recording and we'll talk about it when it shows up. If not, then I will see you on the other side of this cutscene. Okay, now I think there was one difference in the scene there. I'm not going to show it on screen because we've already seen it, but in the middle of that scene on the bridge, I can't even recall, even though we just went through it. But on Rena's path, whatever happened, I think we got an abridged flashback with her. But on Claude's path, we get the full flashback of her in her room crying over the fact that her father has just passed, and then overhearing her mother and the mayor talking about the fact that Rena's not her biological child. So we get the full scene in both paths either way. But that's pretty much all the time we have for today. A long episode, but at least we got through all of that cutscene and all the dialogue and stuff like that. Now we can start the game proper, move forward, actually get some things done, and you'll notice up in the top right we have that private action thing. We will learn all about that and a whole bunch of other things and how to progress with the game at the start of the next episode, which of course is, well, was this episode 4? That'll be tomorrow. That's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.